actually in America, not in America actually, in the whole world,
No,
in the whole world, even the Muslim world, except Gaza Strip in Palestine, celebrating. In fact, when the people come from America, become strangers.
well, they come to America. Yeah.
Strangers.
Yeah.
Now the situation start to imitate the United States of America, become a stranger there. And they know they are strangers.
Yeah.
The key Brother Muhammad, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, beautiful hadith, have a lecture actually, and you can learn the topic is the stranger. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, بدأ الإسلام غريبا. The Islam start strange. وسيعود كما بدأ غريبا. It will come again strange. But he said, طوبى للغرباء. Glad tidings for the stranger. The Sahaba, the companion asked, who the stranger, Rasulullah? قال, the one he follow me and follow the companion of Rasulullah. But how many of us among us, include myself, you, so brother, now, of course, we're gonna always say kids, but also Muslims in America, not only babies, children, youth, no, men and women, parents, same thing. But how would you deal this kind of problem, Brother Muhammad?
I think one of the problems I've seen, not just recently, but in the last 15 years, maybe, of being in this country and being in the West, I notice a lot of people a lot of Muslims. Let's forget about everybody else. Let's just talk about our people, right? Because first and foremost, we're Muslims, right? Yeah. Like I always say all the time, we're Muslims. We're built different, and I think a lot of people forget that when they come here, or when they come to the West, right? We forget that we forget that we're Muslims. We come here from wherever country we're coming from. You know, we have a lot of people who come from Saudi Arabia, from different countries, to go to colleges and college campuses and to go, to study medicine, whatever they're coming here for. And they leave their roots, they leave their parents, they leave their family members, and they get paid to come to college here, they get their college paid for, whatever the case may be. And then they walk out of their apartment for the first time in a Western country that's different, and they see things that they really haven't really seen before in their own countries. They see the dancing, they see the clubs, they see the drinking, they see the partying, they see the fun life, they see the loud music, they hear, they feel all these different emotions, and they weren't ready for that. They're not ready for that. And what ends up happening is, and I've seen it a lot of times, is that they lose themselves. A lot of the times they lose themselves and they forget where they came from. They forget their deen. They forget what they learned in the Islamic schools that they were going to before they came here.
The deen, yes.
They forget all this stuff.
Yeah.
And, we noticed that a lot of times when these guys decide that they want to, when these guys decide that they have to go back home for vacation.
Yes.
Or they do, they go back home and they have to come back. And so and so what ends up happening is they go back on the vacation, they go back to their country, they go back home for maybe a month or two, and they fake it, right? They become, all Muslim again. They go to the masjids, they do their thing, and then they come back.
Confused. Honestly confused.
And they're confused. They don't know what to do. They over there, they have their parents, they have their family members, they have their relatives. Over here, they come here and they really don't have anybody to kind of watch their backs and kind of keep them on the straight path. And they lose themselves over here. And what ends up happening is, as they get older, as they grow up, as they get there, they do their thing, they start to get more and more lost, right? And they start to do the things that we normally don't do. And so this was 10 to 15 years ago. Now you look at it now, where even the Muslim countries, the government are doing their thing, are copying, mimicking, doing these things that we don't do, that we don't celebrate these holidays. We don't. I mean, how many times have we said it? We only celebrate 2 holidays. What's the 2 holidays that we celebrate? Not Christmas. Not Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
Not New Year's. Not Easter. Like these things that we see now that you see them doing over there. It kind of makes you wonder, and it makes the people wonder as well. It's okay to do this now, because if my government is doing this, that means it's okay. And that's not what that means.
Believe it or not. Today, my son, he went to school, university, and then he came back. I said, why you come back? Oh, it's in the new year. We don't know in our house. We don't know in New Year.
Yeah.
We didn't know.
Everybody,
Yeah.
everywhere you go, oh, it's, take a day off of work and so you see all these things happening. We see all these, all the Muslims kind of gravitating towards being the same.
Yeah.
We want to be like everybody else.
Yeah.
And I always tell the kids, because all the youth, when I talk to the youth, especially the middle-aged kids, like the 23, 24-year-olds, the ones that are trying to get married, the ones that are trying to figure themselves out, you laugh. And it's funny because they ask me these questions all the time. And I say, we're not the same. We're not like those guys. We don't do those things. And say, well, oh, Brother Muhammad, when I asked for, when I asked this lady to, this girls to get married, all the girls are the same. They all want the same thing. They're all doing the same thing. Well, I know they are, because I know what they're watching. I know what they're seeing. Back in the days before the internet, before online happened, their parents were able to control the conversation. Talk to your kids about what you want to talk to the kids. Teach the kids what you want to teach the kids. Now we have the social media that really tells everybody how to be.
Yes,
it tells everybody, if you want to be cool, if you want to be cool, this is how you do it. If you want to get, if a man, wants to marry you, he needs to give you, and if you're a woman needs to be like this. A man needs to be. And so when you see all these things online, these kids are watching,
yes,
they get confused.
Yeah.
And then you start to see the argument between the kids and the parents. You start to see the fighting. Oh, you're old fashioned. You're old school.
Yes.
You don't get it. You still live back like you live in Gaza. Like, that's the mindset that these kids have. Well, you're what's the word that the fob, FOB, fresh off the boat. They use these terminology.
Yeah. And
they use these terms. They talk like this, and they really don't understand that. First and foremost, when we have a discussion, any type of discussion in our household, in our houses, any of our houses, first and foremost, you have to remember that you're a Muslim. I don't care how old you are or how young you are. That holds first, right? First and foremost. And every time I go into a house to do a counseling session or a family therapy session, the first thing I tell everybody is, I do Islam first. First and foremost, I'm going to say everything that I know is halal and haram. And after that, we talk about everything else. I'm going to explain to the dad what he's doing wrong, to the mom what she's doing wrong, to the kids what they're doing wrong, Islamically speaking. Then we're going to talk about real life, how you fix things in real life, right? How do you fix things? Why Islam says this and why Islam says that. And I always tell people, look, I'm not a scholar. I'm not a sheikh. I'm not an imam. I just know things from all my experience.
Yeah.
All my years of doing this, all my knowledge that I got, 20 years doing this, 23 years doing this. One of the things that I actually ran into last week or a couple of weeks ago was one of the older kids saying, I want to be a millionaire, and I'm following these people on social media.
Yes, a lot. Other kids, yes.
And all these people on social media are telling me how to become millionaires. So I have to explain to these guys, do you really think that these guys who are millionaires will really tell you the secret of becoming a millionaire?
Possible.
Because then you're taking their money from them. You'll be a competition with these people. That's not what they're doing. What they're doing is they're making you follow them. Because when you watch their content, they get money from you.
Oh.
So it's like it's a slick way of, and look, a lot of people do it. Right? A lot of people make podcasts. A lot of people make online money. And I'm not gonna knock people who make money online. That's, if I knew how to do it, I would probably do it as well. I would do it in a halal way, of course.
Yeah.
And
Me too.
I wouldn't lie. I wouldn't manipulate. I wouldn't do something like that. But I have to explain to these kids that these people who are telling you how to make $1 million, and then you have to pay for a class for $9.99 a month.
There's the money
to this guy to teach you how to make business or how to make money. That's how they're making money.
Yes.
Think about it. 10 people pay this guy $10 a month. This guy's making money off of 10 people, $10 a month. Imagine how much money he's making if it's 100 people a month, 1,000 people a month. He doesn't need to make, a million people follow him. He just needs enough money to generate. So I try to explain to them, you can't really, I get it. I learned a lot from social media, right? I learned how to pave a backyard. I learned how to do electrical work. I learned how, you learn how to do certain things off watching YouTube videos
Yeah,
and these
I use it
things.
sometimes.
Yeah, of course. You have to. That's the best way to learn. Right? It's free. But I always tell these kids, you don't become a millionaire by watching people, by following people, by being like everybody else. Because if you look at the top of the food chain, the people who are trillionaires and billionaires, are they following people? Are they being just like
You
everybody
have
else?
to follow. Yeah,
They're not being like everybody else. These people, like Elon Musk and all these guys are on top. They're different. They're doing things differently. They're not following people around. They're not, let me follow this guy to see how he made his million. No, they're not doing these things. They're coming up with their own ideas. They're doing their own thing. They're being different. And that's what I have to pull back and tell these kids. First and foremost, we are different. We're not the same. We don't follow everybody. When everybody's going left, we Muslims, we go right. The right path, the right way, the right direction. Do things the right way. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will really provide for us and provide for you.
yes. Allah is Arzaq. Allah is the provider. So don't worry about it tomorrow. Yeah.
So when you talk about being different, when these kids are like, oh, I look different than everybody else, or I'm shorter than everybody else, or I'm, this and I'm that. And I always tell people, embrace that difference. Especially these kids, because I had one kid I was talking to, and I think his father or his mother was telling him, you need to be a lawyer. And his whole life grew up, being, I want to be lawyer. He says, I want to go to med school. I want to go to medical school. And I said, oh, lawyer, medical school, like, what the heck, bro? Like, where do you get these ideas from? He said, well, I like to figure out why people are sick. I like to figure, okay. So, I tell the parents, listen, this kid wants to go to med school. Why would you stop your kid from doing something that he would want to do?
Exactly.
Doesn't make any sense. Well, because one of my other kids is going to be a doctor and he needs to be no, you don't. If you have two kids that want to be a doctor, mashallah, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, so in fact, that choice supposed to be with the kids.
The choice has to be for the kids because that's the only way they're going to really enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right. And so I always tell them, you could be a doctor. I can't be a doctor. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us differently. Right. I cannot be. If I see blood, I'm going to pass out, throw up. I'll probably be on the floor. You'll have to resuscitate me or something because I can't see blood. But that doesn't make it where you can't see blood. But then I tell people that I deal with drug addicts, murderers, people that they look at me like, oh my gosh, you're crazy. I can't deal with people like that. Well, that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts us in differences. And I know, there's a hadith or something in regards to that. Maybe you know better than I do on that end.
Actually, before the hadith, when I finished high school in Gaza, I was at Azhar University. The Islamic University, the first one in the whole world. When I finished in the school, the Azhar school, I was number 2 in the rank.
Mm-hmm.
And my father told me, either a medical doctor or a sheikh. I said, I don't want to be a doctor. Also, I don't want to be a sheikh. I wish I listened to him from the beginning. And then I went to Egypt. I was in medical school. I chose him in medical school.
Mm.
Brother Muhammad, as you said, I cannot dead people. Something I cannot handle, disgusting. And directly I went to geology. The reason was to go to the moon, by the way.
That's a good reason.
Yes, I went, honestly. So I changed. After I finished 1 year, I went back to Gaza.
Mm.
And my father goes, how the school? I didn't say anything, but I found out already I am in geology, not in, I said, no problem. But continue doing good. Also, don't forget, you are Azhar. The Quran, stick with the Quran. I came to America. I work with NASA. Why? The whole purpose was to go to the moon. And at 1988, exactly, 1988. Brother Muhammad, they told me, number 1, we're not going to the moon. Number 2, I have a kidney surgery. Because of kidney surgery, you cannot go. You are not fit even to go in a rocket. After 9 months, I resigned. My born Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam قال لا تتبعون سنن الذين من قبلكم شبرا بشبر وذراعا بذراع. You will follow the people before you, the size of your palm and the size of your arm. حتى لو دخلوا جحر ضب لدخلتموه. Even if those people run to the cave of the lizard, you will follow them.
Mm.
Now, for example, Emirates supposed to be Muslim country. They make Hanukkah,
Mm.
Christmas for years, by the way.
No, yeah,
It's
yeah.
nothing new.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Now, Egypt before that, and all the majority of Muslim country doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So when those kids come to America, and a lot of parents here American born, Muslim but American born, they do the same thing. Actually, yeah, this morning. So, but what is the big deal to celebrate Christmas
Yeah.
after Salat al-Fajr?
Yeah.
I said, والله, I celebrate Al-Adha and Fitr. Say, but Christmas.
And
And
that's what they do. Yeah.
No, he came for Salat al-Fajr.
Yeah.
The people like fear in Allah.
Yeah.
But the key what? Al-ilm, the knowledge. Sunnahfollowers, we speak always about this. The problem there is no knowledge.
Yeah. And that's where we go wrong. That's where we go wrong.
Yes.
And when you look at the social media and you see these people that are Muslims wear hijabs, have beards, they wear the whole Arabic garb. I don't say Islamic garb, I say Arabic garb. And they have a Christmas tree in the background, or they have
Yes.
or they have fireworks. They're going to let up fireworks for the New Year, or they have their their turkey dinners and their Thanksgivings, and you see these things, and you see the Muslims doing it on social media, and they have all these followers. Millions and millions of people are following these people. Then you look at your kids watching this,
Yes.
and your kids saying, "Well, Mom, Dad, look, they're doing it.
Yeah.
They're doing it. Why
Yes.
can't we do this?"
Exactly.
And so we have to, as parents, we have to really explain that, just because these Muslims are doing it does not make it right.
Agree.
How many Muslims do we know do we know, just off your hand, one hand, that drink alcohol? How many Muslims do we know who sell it? How many, does that make it right?
Yeah, but I don't know to drink it.
Well, no, I know some, but does that make it okay?
No.
And we see all these things happening.
Yes.
We talk about the countries now, the Muslim countries that are doing all these celebratings. And I try to explain to people, like, all you have to do is not go, not show up. When you go to these celebrations that they're having, the fireworks that they're lighting up, you're showing them that you're interested in these things. I guarantee you, if these governments that spend millions of dollars on all these fireworks and all these cool displays and all these things, if nobody shows up to watch them, how stupid will that government look for doing that, and nobody shows up to watch it? How dumb will the government look?
The government do the celebration.
Of course, who's paying for all these celebrations in these Muslim countries? You think the people?
I know here in America they do that. The government supporting this kind of celebration. Yeah, for example, July 4th of July, they go to the beach, the fire.
Oh yeah, that's the cities. All the cities pay for that. The cities pay for the fireworks. The city the tax dollars, right? They have special lines in the budgets for fireworks and for these different things. And we're not just talking about this country. I'm talking about the world.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you look at it and you really dive down into the real reason why they celebrate Christmas at this time, the real reason why they do these holidays and these fireworks and all these things, you see the haram in it. They know. They know. We don't know. Our kids don't know. All our kids are seeing excitement. They're seeing fun. They're seeing.
They want the hadith I mentioned. They want to follow.
They want to follow everybody. They want to be like everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
And we keep telling them, we're not like everybody else. We're different. We're like, we're awesome people. Like, Muslims are a breed. Like, we're a different breed of people. Okay, we have, I listen to these non-Muslims who talk about Muslims and who say, like, they don't conform. They say, this is haram. Like, these non-Muslims who speak about Islam, about Muslims, who say that we don't really follow the crowd. But then I look down the street and I see our Muslims following.
Yes.
Our Islam is perfect. I always tell people the Quran is perfect, but the people are not.
But something very important. There's a big difference, Brother Muhammad, the difference between Muslim and mu'min. Muslim, the one he says, Ashhad an la ilaha illallah wa ashhad anna Muhammad Rasulullah. He pray. He fast Ramadan. He make Hajj and Umrah. Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people do that Muslim.
Yeah.
Like how many of us mu'min? Believe it or not, I suppose maybe if we are mu'minin, long time to liberate Palestine. But we're not Mu'minin.
No,
But we are Muslims.
we're Muslim. We are, and
Yeah, big difference.
yeah, and I agree with that, and you talk to these kids, and they always say it's hard. It's hard to be a Muslim. It's hard to be a mu'min.
Because their parents the same.
Well, you have to remember, growing up in the West, it's hard.
Yes,
You know,
agree.
we come to the West and we have haram here, haram here, haram here, haram here.
Yes, agree.
And so you have to put like the horse, what do they call it? Horse blinders
Yeah.
on to not see the haram.
You can't.
But you can't, because you go to school, there's haram. You go buy some clothes,
Yes.
it's haram. You go buy your food, there's haram.
Yeah.
Everywhere you turn, it's haram. So how can somebody who is young, born in this country, raised in this country,
Yes. Yeah.
now you're going to tell them, hey man, we can't go to the beach and watch the fireworks because there's going to be so much haram around you. There's going to be a bar over here, there's a bar over here, there's a bar over here. And there's drinking everywhere.
It's very hard.
It's very hard. Oh, you're so old now. Why are you being so old school? Why are you being old fashioned? Why are you, you're trying to make us not have any fun? All right. So what I try to explain to the parents, and this is kind of like something that's really hard to do, especially with parents who haven't done it before. Because when you go into these houses and you listen to the kids talk and you listen to the parents talk, I hear all this stuff at the same time, and I do my assessment in my head. Like I listen to everything and I gather everything in my head, and I try to explain to them, you have to fill up the time with something else,
Key.
right? And you don't say, we're not going to go to the beach to watch the fireworks because of this. You say, hey, listen, we're going to have movie night tonight. I have an awesome, cool movie we want to watch together. We're going to make popcorn. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. You make up something, whatever the case may be. Or we're gonna have a game board night. We're gonna play games at night.
I like that.
Like you fill up the time before the kids have even the opportunity to think,
To act about
to
the
act.
beach.
You
Yeah.
fill it up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we know tonight they're gonna be wanting to do fireworks. They're gonna want to stay up and they're gonna want to watch the TV and the ball dropping.
Today, yeah.
It's tonight. Yeah, I already hear the fireworks.
Oh, tonight.
Yeah, when I was driving here today, the fireworks are already going off, and so you try to fill up that gap. Right. And so one of the things I did when I was in Pennsylvania a while back was for Halloween. Right. I knew when Halloween was coming. We knew that the kids wanted to go out and do their trick or treating, and they wanted to, hey, we're going to have a Muslim night at the masjid. We're going to have a party at the masjid. Everybody bring their kids, come to the masjid. We're going to have food, games, fun.
I used to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the kids, instead of thinking, oh, we're going to go here, the parents had something in their head. Hey, at the masjid on this Wednesday, they're going to do this thing. We're going to go. And the parents would bring their kids to the masjid. And that way, while the other kids are out there, and so what I try to explain to everybody is, think about it don't think about it as a Muslim. Think about it from a safety issue.
Yeah.
Okay? We're going to put Muslim to the side. Let's think about safety. Look at when bad things happen. What time does usually bad things happen?
Ya Allah.
Usually when the sun goes down, bad things happen. All right, so there's robberies, there's theft, there's carjackings, whatever the case may be. Now, top that off with New Year celebration, where people are drinking and getting drunk and not realizing that they're going to get in their car and drive while they're drunk. And alcohol is legal, by the way, so it's okay for them to drink. It's not okay for them to drink and drive, but it's okay for them to drink.
Drugs legal?
Alcohol.
Oh.
Alcohol. So when they're having these New Year's parties and they're going to these clubs and they're drinking. All they're doing is drinking because that's what they do. They drink, they want to have a good time. So I tell people, even the parents or their kids, I say, even at a certain age, 13, 15, 16, understand that when the sun goes down, that's when bad things happen. The majority of the time, maybe 80% of the time, 80 to 85% of the time, even 90% of the time, bad things happen at night because that's when the bad guys want to come out. It's easier to hide in the dark than it is to do something in the daylight. So I try to explain to them, like, we don't go out at night. There's a reason why we don't stay out at night. There's a reason why we don't go out past, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night when the sun goes down. Because I know in this profession, being in this field for such a long time, I know the majority of the crime, majority of the bad stuff happens at night.
Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said hadith. جنبوا أولادكم. Take your kids away when the sunset. Take you away from the street. The kids. That Rasul Prophet Muhammad all this hadith. Why? Because the shayateen come in that time.
See, I didn't even know
that hadith. Al-Bukhari and Muslim.
Yeah. See, so something that was told to us 1400 years ago, we still have it now.
Subhanallah.
That we're telling these people, I'm telling the kids, I'm telling the parents, I'm telling, people, all not just Muslims, people in general. After the sun goes down, man, just stay home. Stay home, hang out at home, get close to your family. You don't really need to go out unless you're all going out together as a family. You're going to go out for a family dinner, you're going to do something together. But going out by themselves and hanging out by themselves, it's not safe.
And even the Sunnah, Rasulullah do not go travel, for example, do not travel alone. You have to be someone.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. If something happens, if anything, if something doesn't happen, if something happens, you want somebody with you, right?
Yeah.
And so here's another, something that happened a couple of weeks ago. One of the daughters I was talking to was complaining that her parents have her on the phone. We have the app that you can see where your kids are going, the location app. And I don't want my parents knowing where I am all the time. That's her complaint. I think she was 14 or 15 years old complaining like this. And her dad explaining, the mom was explaining to me, like, we all have the app on our phones for their school to make sure that, I said, well, that's a safety thing. But I said,
exactly.
I said, yeah, I'm not even going to talk about Islamically speaking. I said, safety reasons why we should know where you're at. Because if something does happen,
yes,
you don't have the time to say, I'm here, I'm there, call me, and to call her and say, I'm on, the university and McNabb Road, and I need you to come. No, we can go to location and find you and help you.
Yeah.
Safety.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, if you keep thinking bad, if you keep thinking like this, bad things are going to happen. No. Bad things are always going to happen, and good things are going to happen. I said, but it's always better to be prepared.
Yes.
Than not to be prepared.
Exactly.
Right. And so, and there's other things, how I explained to her, because even my whole family, we're on these location apps. Because
me and my 4 kids.
And it's not for, I want to know where you're going and I don't trust you. Right. And that's the thing about this westernized society is, he's, if somebody finds out that my wife has it on her phone, oh my gosh, your husband is so controlling.
Oh my Rabbi. Actually, in fact, my oldest son, Abdurrahman, when I was in Texas with my daughter, said, Baba, it's strange, you don't know our location. You have to know exactly. He takes the phone from all my 4 kids and myself and put location for everyone. That everywhere, my son, my daughter, I will know exactly the same.
Exactly.
Yeah. The key, the trust.
Trust. And that's, I think,
trust.
And what ends up happening is a lot of the times when these kids and these older kids, the youth, the teenagers, the older adults, they watch so much westernized social media. I don't want to keep saying Americanized because it's just the westernized mind. The westernized mindset is, and it's kind of, I just heard this last week, once you turn 18, you're out. We have to have, I don't want you to know where I'm at 24/7. So, whoa, this is not how we think. This is not how Muslims act. I need to know where my kids are at. I need to know where my wife. If something happens, I need to make sure that I can get there, because I know in the heat of the moment, if something bad is happening, a lot of people don't know how to really just calm down, take a deep breath, look around, look at your surroundings. Okay, this is where I'm at. Let me call. No, when something's bad's happening, you're scared. Your adrenaline is running. You're nervous. You don't know what to do. So this is a way. The app, the location services. This is the way of us, especially the men, to be able to help if something has happened.
Yes.
Because that's our number one priority. Right?
But that's brother, the trust. My son, because I didn't know how to do it. My son, he took the phone, and my kids with all the location. But especially my older son, is traveling different country every week, every different country. Well, I know exactly where he's at.
Yeah.
That the key. But the kids, the key, if they trust, which means the parents trust.
Yeah.
And not only that, then yes, you are a father, but also try to be his level of thinking.
Yeah. And I think that's hard to do sometimes because we don't understand that age gap. There's a big age gap, right? Between a father, a grandfather, a father, and a child, right? There's a big age gap. So when we try to explain things, you have to kind of explain things on a level, not on your same mindset, but on the deeper, lower level. All right. So and that's how I kind of explained it to the girl about understanding that your dad's not watching, your mom's not watching you because they don't trust you. Your mom and dad are watching because if something happens,
what about you?
We're responsible.
What about you?
We're the ones responsible. We're the ones, worried about you. We're the ones stressing over you. But and I made a joke out of it because, that's what I like to do. I like to make a little joke. I said, for me, if something happens for my kid, I can just see my mom yelling at me that, why did you let this happen? I make a lot, I make a little joke about it, but I have to be serious and say, it has nothing to do with trust. Trust that your dad or your mom has your best interest for you, right? Because that's our job as parents, right? We want to have the best interest for our kids. We want to make sure our kids are the best. We want to make sure our kids do the best. We want to make sure our kids have the best. We want to make sure all this stuff about our kids. The kids don't realize. A lot of times the kids don't realize because I don't think we talk to the kids enough. I don't think parents really understand. We have that old school mindset where my dad never told me anything. Right, my mom never really explained anything to us. So, and this is what one of the parents had said. I grew up in a time where my dad and mom never even told me anything. I grew up in a time where my dad said this and that was it. We listened to my dad and that was over.
My way or the highway.
My way or the highway. I grew up like this. And then I have to backtrack the parents. What year was that? How long ago was this? Because this is a different time.
Absolutely.
This is a totally different time. And it's sad to say this, but we now, as parents, have to really sit down with our kids and explain to kids why we're different, why it's okay to be different, and why you say, alhamdulillah, that I'm different.
Yes, I should be proud to be a stranger.
Yes. And it's funny because a lot of kids will say to me, how do you get up on stage and you talk to all these people and you do this and you do that? And how do you, I want to be like that. I want to be able to do that, to get up. And I said, well, you have to work for that.
Yes.
It doesn't, I didn't just wake up one morning and say, oh, I'm going to be a public speaker. No, I was pushed. How many times have I not wanted to do this kind of stuff?
I was 15 years when I stayed at Khutbah al-Jum'ah. My father have cancer. And he's supposed to be Khutbah al-Jum'ah. And then I came with him to the masjid. And he cannot even stand up. I said, Ibrahim, go and make Khutbah al-Jum'ah. I said, Baba, I had jeans.
Not ready for this.
And a t-shirt. I said, Baba, me? أنا? أنت يلا روح. Baba, I can't. 15 years. And believe it or not, that's a story actually. This is for the youth, this story here for you. Don't give up. Learn. I went to the member, Baba said, read for them Surah Qaf. Just read Qaf. That's it. First khutbah, I said khutbah, two khutbah. And when I went to the member up, in Gaza, the member high. Now they destroyed this place. And I looked at people, guess what? I wet my pants. I wet my pants. And then cannot even see. I can't even I read from the Quran and memorize. I read from the Quran. And I sit and read again. Finish the surah. Only that's it. And I put down. And my father, lead the salah. Baba, I can't lead the salah. I didn't even say, Baba, lead the salah, Ibrahim. I can't. You know what father did? I don't have wudu. I have no wudu. I didn't have it. Wash my pants. I said, Baba, I don't have wudu. I said, go and make wudu. Like more than 1,000 people did. Ibrahim have no wudu. Wait for him to change wudu. Oh my Rabbi. And then I make wudu. And I told the Imam is a young guy. Say, listen, I wet my pants. Lead the salah. And he did the salah. But hold on. That day, 15 years in middle school, until now, the key, don't give up.
And I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said don't give up, because a lot of kids, when you talk to them, well, I tried that and it didn't work for me. So I'm going to try some. Well, hold on. How many times did you try? Well, I tried once and
Yeah, that's it.
and I'm
Yeah,
done.
give up.
No, hold on. You know how many times I've failed? You know how many times I've got up on in front of people and my voice cracks
Yeah,
and you
really?
get nervous
Yeah, yeah.
and you yes, it does. It's you fail, but you gotta keep going. You
I
gotta keep
agree.
trying. And so what ends up happening is I don't think that they really and I can't, you keep blaming the parents or we keep putting this pressure on the parents. The kids too. The kids need to really talk and really open up to the parents. I mean, I'm hoping that there's a bunch of kids watching and really understand that the only person you can really talk to about your problems, about your issues, who's really going to care and give you the advice that
Your parents.
yeah,
Your parents,
your
yes.
parents, you can go to your friends. And I try to explain to the kids all the time, like your friends will be your friends for that year, for that 6 months,
Yeah.
Whatever. But once they see you succeeding, once they see you doing
You're
good,
jealous.
once they see you doing well, they're gonna get jealous. They're not gonna want to talk to you anymore.
You talk to her, speak about bad about you.
It's gonna either be like that, or you're gonna see.
Yes.
As a kid growing up, you're gonna start to see, well, the kids I'm talking to, they're not going anywhere. They're not doing anything. So why am I still talking to that person while they're down here and I'm trying to get myself up here?
They may, this kind of people actually put themselves down.
Yeah.
To humiliate. Yeah. Sometimes you humiliate yourself because of those people.
And that's the scary part, right? We'll dumb ourselves to be with everybody else.
Yeah.
We're gonna make ourselves dumber because if I'm too smart, I'm not gonna have friends. And I've seen that a lot because I think what people forget is when you're Muslim, and I don't want to just say Arab or certain people or what Muslims, we're smart. We're very smart people. Like we have we're based on knowledge. Our religion is based on knowledge, right? And our religion basically tells us to read.
Yes,
to gain
read,
knowledge. Right? So when you have a religion that tells you to read, tells you to ask questions, it's telling you to educate yourself.
No.
So when I try to explain to the Muslims is we're smart. We're given this education. We're given this mindset that Islam gave us. Use it.
Yes.
So if people are dumb down here and they're fun, they're having a good time, but they're down here, and you're trying to get up here, and you're smart, you're intelligent, you're making moves, you're doing different things, you're making money, you're getting your deen up on your higher level. Don't dumb yourself down.
Yes.
Just because everybody else is down here. Just because the fun looks fun down here. You're gonna go up here and you're gonna make yourself come here just to have fun with everybody else. No, you leave everybody else. Yes. You educate yourself more, and you'll start to see that there's gonna be people up here too. You're gonna go from having 50 friends, 25 friends, to 15 friends, to 3 or 4 friends, and you're gonna start seeing that you're on the same wavelength of the same people that are on your same level.
Allah said that in the Quran, Surah Al-Mutaffifin. وفي ذلك فليتنافس المتنافسون. In this case, to compete each other. Yeah. Compete, be the best.
And that's one of the things that the competition is good, right? We have to compete with each other on certain levels, on certain things. Compete with the best deeds. Who can have the best deeds? Who can give the most? Who can do? We look at the world that we're living in right now. We talk about politics. We talk about all these different things, and everybody think, oh, this person's going to save us, or this person's going to save us, or this person's going to make this change. No, nobody's going to make any change.
Yourself.
You got to change.
Yeah.
You got to improve yourself.
Allah said, Allah will never change a nation until the nation change themselves. Yes. You change yourself, Surah Al-Ra'd.
Yeah.
It's very scary,
It's a very scary thought because it's hard. It's hard for you have to think about it. Like we said, all the Muslim countries now that are doing the celebrations and the fireworks and all this stuff. And then we see the people who are Muslim, and watching and loving and observing and oh, this is exciting. This is not for us. This is not us.
Yes.
We're different than everybody else.
Absolutely.
So why is the population of these countries watching and observing and cheering and I say it's easy. It's the easiest problem to solve. It's a very easy problem to solve if the people in those countries just don't show up to those and show up to the masjids, but don't show up to these.
Allah told us, subhanallah, Surah Al-Imran, كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس. You are the nation of Muhammad, the Muhammad nation, the best nation that Allah had created. But the key, تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. تنهون عن something wrong, be away. Something bad, good, follow.
Yeah.
When believe in Allah, that is the day. ولو آمن أهل الكتاب لكان خيرا لهم. If the people of the book believe in what we believe, they be better than us. But أكثرهم فاسقون.
And that's the thing. We all
that.
Yeah, and we're trying to be the opposite. We're the opposite of what Allah says.
Agree.
Whatever Allah says, we're doing the opposite.
But Brother Muhammad, can we fix ourselves? For example,
yeah.
I am with those people. You know, I want to fix myself. I want to fix my family. How?
You slowly have to make some changes.
Slowly, step by step.
Because you can't just stop.
Yeah.
You know, we've gotten this habit of doing this. There's a habit that we got doing. We're gonna go here, we're gonna go there, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, because everybody else is doing it.
Yes.
We're gonna do it. So you slowly start to take yourself away from all that stuff, all that haram stuff. Anything that you know is haram. Anything that I tell people, if there's a gray area for me, I just stay away from it. If I don't know if it's haram or halal, as just me, as a Muslim. As a Muslim. And for my kids or for myself, as a husband, as a father, whatever. But as a Muslim, first and foremost, if I think that something may be haram or has a chance of being haram, I'm just gonna be like, listen, until I find out if it's haram or not, I'm just gonna stay away. Little by little, you take things slowly and you start to change and fill up that time that you're gonna do something with something else. Something a little bit more halal, or better, or more positive.
You need a plan.
You have to have a plan.
You need the plan to change to be better. You are good. I want to be better than what I am. Change, but with the plan.
With a plan, and see, honestly, there's depends on what you're trying to stop, right? Let's say, for instance, we have a guy who's trying to stop smoking cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
The best time to stop doing something like that is during Ramadan. You have to stop.
Yeah. Yes.
So you have your 30-day time period, 28 days, 30 days. That's about as much time as a person needs to break a habit. It's 30 days. Allah already gave you the answer right here. Here's Ramadan. Stop for 30 days.
That's weakness.
That's a weakness.
Yes.
And so a lot of people, even for myself, with caffeine, I used to drink 10, 12 cups a day.
Coffee?
Back in the days, not anymore. and I used Ramadan as my springboard to really stop myself. Okay, listen, I get it. It's caffeine is okay. It's legal, but it's still bad for you, right? There's certain quantities. So use Ramadan. Ramadan's here. I'm going to slow myself down. And now I'm down to 2 cups, or 1 cup sometimes, and I'm good to go. And you can change, but it has to be slow pace. Because if you try to do everything at one time, it gets overwhelming.
Only 1 cup I have. Sometimes 2. Sometimes. Yeah.
I mean, we Arabs have to drink coffee.
Yeah.
It's in our blood.
No, in Tahajjud time, I want to wake up, I have to go to the masjid. I drink that coffee. I read Quran, this, that, with my coffee. My mazza.
But it goes to say that, when you talk about stopping these big things, you watch all your friends and you see all your friends doing certain things, and you're trying to be like everybody else, you're trying to say everything else. Because a lot of times, a lot of the kids, they tell you, well, we don't want to look like we're the boring people, right? And I'll give you an example, a personal example. And of growing up in this country, you see everybody drinking, everybody going to the bars, everybody going, and I never did, not because of Islam or because of Deen. I just didn't really. That wasn't my thing, right? And they were always saying, "Oh, Muhammad's a boring guy. Muhammad doesn't, Muhammad's. Don't ask Muhammad to go because he always says no." And I became the guy that always says no. Did I care? No, I never really cared because I had that strength inside of me that I didn't care what people think. I don't care what people said. I don't care about any of that kind of stuff. And so I think right now these kids are built like afraid of what their friends are going to say. I want to have 20 friends. I want to have 30 friends. When you ask people how much friends they have on social media, I have 10,000 friends on social media. And I really, do you know all 10,000 of those people that are following you?
Yeah, Allah.
And I have to post these posts because if I don't, my 10,000 friends or followers, they won't like what I have to say. So I have to do certain things.
Yeah, oh my Allah, you're right with that.
So I explained to them, if you think like this, and you see all these people who are millions and millions of followers, have millions and millions of followers online. You don't think they're doing the same thing?
I doubt.
That they're just saying to themselves, I have to post content in order for me to be
followers.
to get more followers.
Yeah,
Right?
yes, yes.
And I use that example of the YouTube clips that they have that they post, and there's always like a big saying, Mr. Beast is giving out free, $50 million or something, and it's click. You see it. Oh, I want to click. I want to click. I want to click. And because they know how to make people. Oh, that video looks good. Let me click. So I explain to people that's all a marketing strategy.
Yeah.
All
Yes.
Mr. Beast has millions of followers. You think that he thinks that any of those people are his friends?
I doubt.
Highly doubt so.
But we need, before we finish, we are 15 minutes before the question, inshallah. We need now a solution, brother. Today, tomorrow, New Year. Today, and also tomorrow, finish the qaida today, the new month, also tomorrow, new month for the Arabic month, tomorrow. My point, how to change to be, for me as a parent, I don't know that youth watching, but at least I know that there's some youth actually.
Sure.
How to change my household to be better. I'm okay, but I have to be better, not to be changed or imitating them other people.
You have to ask yourself, what are you imitating?
I like that.
Right. What are you imitating? That's one of the questions that you have to really ask yourself and in your family. What are you imitating? What are you doing that everybody else is doing that you should not be doing? Everybody else is doing.
So I have to ask this question to myself.
For yourself. Ask yourself that question. What am I following? Who am I following? What am I really doing wrong that I need to stop in order to make my family better?
I love this.
Because a lot of people don't really.
Hold on. Repeat it. Listen to this, brother Muhammad here.
I forgot what I said.
Yeah, for a change.
For a change.
Yeah.
You ask yourself, who am I following? What am I following?
You remember that.
In order for myself to not stop doing that haram, or stop doing whoever I'm following, to make my family better.
To make my
household better.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're responsible.
Yes.
Right? Not your 3-year-old daughter, your 5-year-old son. They're not responsible. You're the one responsible. The parent, the mom, the dad, whoever. The parents responsible. Yeah.
Father and mother.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Of course. I mean, you can't blame a 3-year-old if they're putting decorations on a Christmas tree. That's something that you're teaching, right? It's a learned behavior. You're teaching that 3-year-old to put ornaments on a Christmas tree. So if you're a Muslim and you're celebrating Christmas, that that's not something that Muslims are supposed to be doing, and you're having kids grabbing the ornaments and putting it on the Christmas tree.
What do that say?
Ornaments, decorations.
The connection in the tree.
On the trees.
Oh.
and you're giving this 3-year-old girl, here, put this on the tree. You're teaching that girl, that kid, that it's okay. You're a Muslim, but we still celebrate Christmas.
Allah.
So when you see that and you hear these videos, not just my videos, there's tons of videos out there that these Muslims are talking about these things and telling Muslims, please stop following the Western society, stop following these pagan ideas, stop following these devil things. There's a lot of Muslims out there saying these things, these big, people bigger than me, better than me, that can speak better than I could speak at any time. I listen to them talk, and I hear them and explain it, and they tell the Muslims, you guys, we're not supposed to be doing this.
Yes.
Even if some of the Christians are saying we don't want to do this anymore. This is not this is not Jesus. Even the Christians are stopping this.
Oh my Rabbi.
But now the Muslims are doing it. So
I heard some Christians not doing this anymore.
Because they started to really research what all this is about. When did Jesus put up a tree? Where in the Quran or in the Bible?
In Palestine, the Christmas, with the Jesus, 7th of January. In the Palestine, 7th of January. And here, what day?
The 23rd or 24th December.
Yeah. In England, in Germany, different.
Yeah.
So Isa were here and there.
Yeah. He was born so many times. We don't know when he was. But this is one thing I tell the parents is, look at yourself. Really look into your family. Look into your house. What are you doing wrong? What are you following that you need to change in order to make your household better?
Yeah,
That's first and foremost.
that's very important.
And if
point.
you don't realize what you're doing, that you're doing something wrong, ask somebody. Ask somebody who has better understanding than you. Okay, brother, Sheikh Ibrahim, I'm doing this in my house. This is what my household looks like. What do you think I should do? Brother,
Yes.
you're celebrating Christmas. It's haram. Well, it's not because of Christmas. I just like the tree and I like the smell of the pine stuff. I like
Yeah.
no. As a sheikh or as an imam, as a sheikh, you're going to tell him, yeah, Habibi, I get it. You like the tree, you like the colors, but that's not what we do. That's not what Muslims do. This is haram. You're bringing this ideology into your household when you have these little kids. They're going to learn
Yes, exactly.
that this is normal, that it's okay. And so when you, as somebody as a third party coming into the house, because a lot of parents don't even know what they're doing sometimes. If they're
Yes,
doing
I
it wrong.
agree. Yes.
So we have to come in sometimes and say, Habibi, listen, this is what you're doing is wrong. This is what I do when people call me over to their houses. The first thing I tell them, you're not going to like what I have to say. I tell them all the time.
In advance.
In advance. I said, this is not a matter of pain. You're not going to like me after this because I'm going to tell you what you're doing wrong. And it's funny because when I'm going at it with the mom or with the dad, I look at the kids' facial reactions. I watch the kids and their reactions, and they're smiling and they're laughing because I'm yelling at the parents, or I'm talking loud to the dad, and they're not liking it. They never hear this before. They never see somebody come after their father and tell them, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong. And when a kid sees this, they like it, they enjoy it.
I agree. Yeah.
And then I tell the kids, listen, I'm going to come back in 2 weeks. I want you to tell me if anything's changed. Not him, not her. I don't care what they have to say.
Yeah.
You guys, you 2, 3 kids have to tell me what changed in this house.
You're supposed to raise many houses now in the Sunnahfollowers here.
No, it's alhamdulillah. It does get tiring. It's a lot of work. And what ends up happening is it gives the kids the courage to talk to their parents. And that's what I want to do in these houses is let the kids talk to their parents.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Let the kids talk. Because I always tell them at the beginning, when I leave, you don't bring this stuff up. You don't say, I can't believe you said this and I can't believe you said that. No. This is an open, safe forum. You have to let the kids talk so I can get the full picture of what's going on in the house.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? And so when you see these kids and you hear the kids talking, their parents are amazed.
Yeah.
That I didn't know my kid thought like this. I didn't know my kid had this impression of me. Well, now you know. How are you going to fix this?
Yeah. But it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Nothing. Change is not easy.
The key, the intention.
Alhamdulillah. And that's I think the number one thing that we always talk about is what's your intention when I come into your house?
Exactly.
If you go to a house to fix up a house, what's the family's intentions of bringing you in?
Exactly.
You want me to fix this? You want me to break this? What do you want?
Yeah. That's why Rasulullah, the first hadith in Bukhari Muslim, إنما الأعمال بالنيات. Every action with the intention.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry.
sorry, Sunnahfollowers, Sister Layla, I know 5 minutes left, inshallah.